Ladies and gentlemen, sat in front of me now is the Spider-Man 2 PS5 limited edition console. It looks brilliant. I'm so excited to open this. For anyone that doesn't know, obviously the new game is coming out, the new Spider-Man 2 game, and they've had a collaboration console made where you get the, obviously, as shown on the box there, the console and the DualShock controller. For anyone wondering, I picked this up in the UK. I know that in America they are sold out in most places. The thing about the UK is most people, or at least most people I know, do PC gaming. So very few consoles like this get sold out. And that was partly the reason why I wanted to pick it up. And, you know, after seeing the trailer of this release, I absolutely love the console design. And I'm so looking forward to the game. But obviously you can buy the console covers and the controller separately. I'm not too sure of the stock for that, but for someone like myself who hasn't even upgraded to the new generation consoles or hasn't got a PS5, this was a perfect opportunity for me to pick this up. So I'm going to open the box and we're going to have a little look what's inside. So there is the art on the back of the console, for anyone wondering. I don't know if it's just me, but obviously because it's my first time buying the PS5, I didn't realize how big it was going to be. I mean, in fact, you can actually see the top of my, or the bottom of my shelf there over to the right. But yeah, the artwork on the back looks brilliant. I didn't get the collector's edition. It was just a bit too much for me, and I know there's other people who would want to buy that up. In fact, they sold out even quicker than the consoles did. But I believe you get a massive Venom statue similar to what is happening here. I'll put a picture up on screen for anyone's wondering. I'm not sure if any of those are still available, but again, a nice thing that they've done. I think a lot of people were expecting it again. I remember when they did Spider-Man 1, they released the kind of pre-order, kind of almost statue thing, the figure. And they also released the PS4 Spider-Man console. So I think people have been waiting for them to finally release a PS5 version for Spider-Man. And I mean, yeah, I'm very excited for this. So I'm just gonna pull the box out so that I'm not blocking the camera too much. I'll be back in just a second. So with the console unboxed now, let's take a little look at what we get inside. We've got just the console over to the left here. I'll come back to that in just a sec. But on the right, obviously, it comes with what I'm guessing is the power cord. Something I forgot to mention as well, you get a code to the game, which will release on October 20th. You can redeem that code in the PlayStation Store. One thing to note though is it won't include any of the pre-order bonuses, which I believe are some skins, a couple action points, and a web shooter. Some people were a little bit annoyed about that. I was a bit surprised you couldn't get the pre-order bonuses, even if you bought the console beforehand. But I guess there's no real way of checking who bought it before and who didn't, because you can buy this console as long as it's available, and that code I'm sure will always be redeemable. But, you know, some people were a little bit kind of hesitant or wondering why, especially on the release video of the console. But I mean, I'm not too fussed. I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to unlock them in game later on. I don't think it's stuff that you won't be able to unlock. So you'll be able to unlock it, but I think it'll just be later than the people who pre-ordered it. Now here is the controller. One thing I've been really interested to open, because I've never actually held a PS5 controller in my hand. Feels quite lightweight. The grips are lovely. I mean, I don't know about usual PS5 controllers, but it seems to have this kind of matte finish on it almost. It's a very smooth kind of surface. Feels very, yeah, feels nice to hold. I mean, I've been using the PS4 controller a bit recently, but someone who usually plays Xbox, no, I quite like this. I mean, the design is brilliant. Essentially, the color scheme they've gone for is the whole idea of Venom taking over Spider-Man, so the black taking over the red. And I love it. I think it's brilliant. I don't think they've made anything like it before. Obviously, the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man console was just a kind of basic red with the Spider-Man logo placed upon it. Now, let's take a little look at the console now. Okay, so in the box over to the side here, you also get a little plate. I completely forgot to show that. Again, blame on the fact I've never seen a PS5 in person before. Right, so here is the stand. I'm going to have to figure out how to use this thing, but obviously where you rest the console on, because I I was wondering where that was. I didn't even spot it in there. So we obviously have the console here. Let's take this wrapping off. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Jeez. Right, and let's pull it out of the box. There we are. So, in all its glory, the PS5 Spider-Man 2 Edition console. I mean, it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Someone who's been a fan of Venom for a long time now, and I'm sure a lot of other Spider-Man fans are. He's kind of like, he's one of like the main Spider-Man villains, the most notorious Spider-Man villains. It looks lovely. I love the whole design concept of, you know, Venom taking over Spider-Man. You know, essentially what this game's going to be is, and what I think it's going to be is it's going to be aimed at Peter being the villain for part of it. So that'll be interesting how this works out. So this is the back side of the console. For anyone that was wondering, it's a disc edition of the PS5, not a digital one, so you can use your discs. Might be old-fashioned to me, but I do prefer having a disc console. I like to keep some games on, you know, physical rather than all being on the kind of PlayStation Cloud. The design is just plain on the back, except for the Spider-Man logo just down there. In terms of cord connections, you've got a HDMI cable right around the back there, and on the front you've got USB and USB-C cable, both for the controller, which is rechargeable. So, taking one last look at the console, I mean, this is impressive. I must admit, for someone who hasn't even played, looked at a next-gen console and for a first time unboxing one, I'm so excited to play on this. And for anyone who is a Spider-Man fan, I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's brilliant. I've been looking for a reason to upgrade to the next generation, wondering which console to choose. And both offer very similar things, but as a Spider-Man fan myself, I just believe that this had the edge on what it was offering with this new Spider-Man game coming out. I think the console is brilliant. It's a lovely design, a little bit bland on the back. I wish they'd done something there, but the front looks lovely, the controller looks lovely, and I'm really looking forward to actually playing some games on there. The game releases October 20th, for anyone wondering, so if your code, you know, if the code you get, don't enter it until October 20th. I'm not too sure what happens if you do enter it before, but just to be safe, enter that code on October 20th when the game is available in the PS Store. To anyone who is looking to upgrade and, you know, is a big fan of Spider-Man, if you can get your hands on this console, I say go for it. It was £570, which I believe is around $600, maybe to $650. So it is quite pricey, but I think for the long-term investment and for the fact that I believe a lot of games are now going to be made on the next-gen consoles, I think it's a worthwhile investment. You know, I've been playing on Xbox One for a while now, and I can see the change in how games are being made on the latest consoles rather than the old ones now. So, you know, it's a bit worrying being on that, but now I've upgraded, I definitely think it's worth it. I'm gonna have a little play around later this afternoon with it, test out some games on there, see what the graphics are like. I know the load times are ridiculously good, and I'm excited to play some of the PS exclusives on here. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys got a good idea of what the console offers and what it looks like, and hopefully you maybe buy one yourselves. Apart from that, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.